The Popstar Pirates by Maggie Pearson. Chapter 1. The Three Runaways. This is the story of three bold pirates, One-Eyed Jake, Blackbeard, and Peg-Leg Pete. They ran away from home because their mothers had made them help around the house and wash every day, and never let them play loud music. They found a hidden cove where they could laze around. They could swim in the sea so they didn't need to wash. They could play their music as loud as they liked, Blackbeard on piano, Jake on the guitar, and Pete on the drums, using his peg leg as an extra drumstick. They built a pirate ship out of planks of wood and old car tires and empty barrels. Every night they dreamed of sailing the 7 seas and having adventures, and stealing boatloads of treasure. Every day they lazed around and swam in the sea and played their music. People could hear them from far away, but no one knew where the music was coming from. No one discovered their secret hideout until one day a little boat rowed into their cove. Chapter 2. The Visitor. "Ship ahoy!" cried Jake. "We've got a visitor." "That's nice," said Pete. "This is our secret hideout," said Blackbeard. "We don't want visitors." "We could just say hello," said Pete, "and then ask them to go away nicely," said Jake. "But we're pirates!" cried Blackbeard. "Say it with me." "We're pirates," the other two mumbled. "Pirates don't ask nicely. We have to scare them away." "What if we can't scare them?" "Then we fight them." Blackbeard jumped aboard the pirate ship. "Hoist the Jolly Roger! All hands on deck! Prepare for battle! Cast off!" But the pirate ship preferred to wallow in the shallow water, its bottom resting on the warm, soft sand. "Push!" yelled Blackbeard. "We're pushing!" puffed Pete. "Push harder!" shouted Blackbeard. "Why don't you come down and push?" suggested Jake. The three of them managed to push the pirate ship off the sand. Then they jumped aboard and started paddling. With 2 pirates paddling on one side and only one on the other, the ship kept going round in circles. The little boat bobbed up and down as if it were laughing at them. "I don't think this is going to work," said Jake. "We're not going to scare them away." "Then we'll have to attack," said Blackbeard. "As soon as we come alongside them, I'll give the word." "What word?" said Jake. "Jump!" said Blackbeard. "Here we go. 1, 2, 3, jump!" Together they jumped into the little boat, which began to rock. "Sit down," said Bonnie Ann. The pirates sat. "Welcome aboard," said Bonnie Ann. "Are you pirates?" "We are," said Blackbeard, "and this is our cove, our secret hideout." "Does that mean you want me to go?" Yes," he said timidly. "All right then, I'll go, just as soon as you get off my boat," said Bonnie Ann. "All right then," said Blackbeard, "we're going now." But while they were talking, the pirate ship had drifted away and was heading for the open sea. "It looks like you'll have to swim," said Bonnie Ann, "or you can join my crew if you want. I've always wanted to be a pirate captain." Now there were 4 bold pirates lazing all day on the sandy beach, swimming in the sea and playing loud music, Jake on guitar, Blackbeard on piano, Pete on drums, and Bonnie Ann singing very loudly. She knew all the old pirate songs like 15 Men on a Dead Man's Chest, Blow the Man Down, and A Life on the Ocean Wave. She could even dance the sailor's hornpipe. The boys played while Bonnie danced. She didn't just dance. She jigged, she twirled and tapped, she hopped and skipped and jumped so high it was like she was flying. "She's amazing," said Pete. "Fantastic," said Jake. Blackbeard said nothing. He was too busy trying to keep up on the piano. Chapter 3. Pirate Boot Camp. "You're not real pirates," said Bonnie Ann one day. "We are real pirates," said Blackbeard. "You're not." "We are." "Real pirates don't lay around all day," said Bonnie Ann. "Real pirates have adventures. They sail the 7 seas, fight battles, and steal treasure. Real pirates have to be fit." "We are fit," said Blackbeard. "Show me," said Bonnie Ann. "Let's see what you can do." "Why don't we try running? Race you to the top of the cliff." Bonnie Ann won easily. partly because she got the path first, so it was kind of like racing up a ladder. Mostly it was because the other pirates were tired out. Every day after that, Bonnie Ann turned up for more exercise for them to do. She made them run up the cliff path, carrying heavy rocks, pretending they were cannonballs to load the cannon up on the deck. "We haven't got a cannon," said Pete. "And the boat's only got one deck," said Jake. "We can pretend," said Bonnie Ann. She made them swing on a rope across a crocodile pool. They weren't really any crocodiles, but the pool was really muddy. They spent hours hacking a path through the jungle, which turned out to be mostly prickly plants and bushes. "We won't always be attacking from the sea," said Bonnie Ann. One morning they found a whole obstacle course set up. "Where did she get that from?" said Jake. "Search me," said Pete. "She's Bonnie Ann," sighed Blackbeard. "What Bonnie Ann wants, Bonnie Ann gets," said Jake. "I'm fed up with being a pirate," grumbled Pete, who had gotten his peg leg stuck in the climbing net. "I'm fed up with Bonnie Ann," mumbled one-eyed Jake, who was trapped under a tarpaulin. "She's tougher than my mom," sighed Blackbeard. But the next day Bonnie Ann turned up with a treasure map. Maybe things weren't so bad after all. "X marks the spot," she said. "Off you go. Have fun." "Treasure?" said Pete. "Real treasure," said Jake. "What are we waiting for?" cried Blackbeard. "Let's go." Off they went, following the treasure map up the cliff path and through the bushes, down onto the next beach and over the sand dunes, then across the rocks and around the peninsula, splashing through tidal pools that turned out often to be deeper than they looked. Blackbeard's beard got tangled in the prickles. Pete kept tripping over his peg leg. Jake couldn't see on one side because of his eye patch, bumping into things. But on they went, following the treasure map until they found themselves back in their secret cove. There was Bonnie Ann, waiting for them. There was a big X drawn in the sand. "Start digging," she said, handing them each a shovel. The pirates started digging. They dug and they dug, but they didn't find any treasure. "Where is it?" said Jake. "Where's what?" said Bonnie Ann. "The treasure, of course," said Pete. "There isn't any yet, silly," said Bonnie Ann. "This is where we're going to hide it when we've stolen it. See you tomorrow." Chapter 4. Mutiny. "Why do we always have to do what Bonnie Ann says?" growled Blackbeard. "She's the captain," said Pete. "It's her boat," said Jake. "That doesn't mean she has to be captain," said Blackbeard. "Pirates used to vote for their captain. It could be anyone." "Why didn't you tell us that before?" said Pete. "I was the captain," said Blackbeard. "Who's going to tell Bonnie Ann?" said Jake. "We'll all tell her," said Blackbeard. "She won't listen," said Pete. "We'll make her listen," said Blackbeard. The next day they decided to ambush Bonnie Ann. They hid, then jumped out and tied her up. "We're fed up with you being captain," said Blackbeard. "Okay, so who's going to be the captain now?" said Bonnie Ann. "Me," said Blackbeard. "Me," said Jake. "Me," said Pete. "So it's a draw," said Bonnie Ann. "Don't I get a vote? I'm still one of the crew." "Now, who should I vote for?" "I suppose that depends on who unties me." "I'll do it," said Jake. "No, let me," said Pete. "Out of my way," roared Blackbeard. "Now who are you going to vote for?" they demanded. "Me, of course," said Bonnie Ann. This is the day we all became real pirates. Chapter 5. Pop Star Pirates. The passenger steamer Skylark sailed slowly past the mouth of the Pirates' Cove, just as it did every Saturday. But this Saturday would be different. "Ship ahoy!" cried the Skylark's mate. "Where?" said the steamer's captain. "There," said the mate. "It looks like there's been a shipwreck." "Stop the engines! Man the lifeboat!" roared the captain. "Looks sickly," whispered Bonnie Ann to the pirates, crouching in the bottom of their little boat. "We're pretending to be shipwrecked. When they rescue us, say, 'Water! Water!'" "Water! Water!" gasped the pirates as the Skylark's crew helped them aboard the lifeboat. "Water! Water!" they gasped again as they were helped aboard the Skylark. "Water?" said the mate. "You must be sick of water. How about a nice smoothie? Or a milkshake? I'll bet you're hungry too. This way to the dining room. Help yourselves." Later on, Pete said, "I'm full." "Me too," said Jake. "We're not really going to rob anyone, are we?" asked Blackbeard. Bonnie Ann sighed. "I suppose not," she said. "But we could have. My plan would have worked. That's what counts, isn't it?" They were alone in the dining room. "Where is everyone?" whispered Pete. "Where have they all gone?" "Perhaps it's a ghost ship," said Bonnie Ann. "That would be an adventure, wouldn't it?" "I can hear music," said Blackbeard. "Do ghosts play music?" "There's only one way to find out," said Bonnie Ann. "Let's go and see." The soft music swept through the ship, upstairs and downstairs, whispering round the corners. The pirates followed the sound, tiptoeing, just in case it did not turn out to be ghosts, until they came to the door marked Ballroom. Inside, a band was playing, but they looked very bored. The dancers looked bored too. The people watching looked even more bored. The pirates began to feel bored just watching them. Then Bonnie Ann said, "I've got just a great idea. Come on." "We'd better go with her," sighed Blackbeard. "She's still the captain." Together the pirates marched up to the band. "We're pirates," cried Bonnie Ann, "and we are taking over." Upstairs, the Skylark's captain was puzzled. "Do you hear music?" he asked. "I do," said the mate. "It's very loud music. Someone's singing too, very loudly." "We'd better go see what's happening." They followed the music through the ship. In the ballroom they found Jake playing piano, Blackbeard on guitar, and Pegleg Pete on drums. Everyone else was dancing the hornpipe, led by Bonnie Ann. "Why didn't you tell us you were a band?" said the captain. "What do you call yourselves?" "We're the Popstar Pirates." "That's funny," said the mate. "When we rescued you, I said to myself, you look like a band of pirates. I hope they don't rob us." "Shall we dance?" said the captain. "Why not?" said the mate. "This reminds me of the old days," said the captain, "when I was sailing the 7 seas in search of adventure. Every night we used to play loud music and dance the hornpipe." "This is just what the Skylark needs," said the mate. "Finally something to liven up these Saturday afternoon trips, thanks to the Popstar Pirates." Now you have to book a reservation way in advance to get a place on the Skylark Saturday cruise. There are 4 Popstar Pirates aboard. 3 of them play loud music. 1 of them sings. You can hear them a long way away. They always finish with the hornpipe, and Bonnie Ann leads the dancing.